Hi, welcome to today's video and thanks for joining me. Hey, did you know that most Canadians take CPP early at age 62? So we're going to compare Canada Pension Plan at age 60, 65, and 70 and why you may want to rethink why you're taking CPP early if that's what you're planning right now. So without further ado, let's get into why you're here today, and thanks for joining me. And remember, put your comments below. I love reading your comments. Okay, let's get into today's video. A little recap about Canada Pension Plan, but this couple is looking at their Canada Pension Plan and wondering, wait a minute, that's not what we expected. You know that your Canada Pension Plan is there to help you through your retirement, and I'm going to show you a startling number that's going to explain how important Canada Pension Plan is, so stay with this video. Okay, so you could be losing out of Canada Pension Plan and a lot of money. Let's explain why. A little recap really fast about the Canada Pension Plan if you're not sure about how it works. So at age 65, that's when you're eligible to receive 100% of your benefit. Now that right now in 2025 is $1,433. Most Canadians don't get that. You can see at the bottom of the page, the average Canada Pension Plan benefit at age 65 is $808. Mostly that's because many people are taking CPP early at age 62, so that's throwing off the average much lower. You can see here, as you take CPP early, there is a penalty, a permanent reduction. I want to make that very clear. This is a permanent reduction in your Canada Pension Plan of 7.2% each year. So if you take CPP at age 60, you'll have a permanent reduction of your Canada Pension Plan of 36%. That's a big number. Now, so that works out to $917. Now, if you were to not take your CPP at 65 and defer it till age 70, which is the oldest age to receive your Canada Pension Plan, you actually get a bonus. So the government will say, I want to say enriches you, but they just give you a bonus, and that's 8.4% per year. Every year that you don't take your CPP and you defer it, you get an 8.4% bonus. So $2,000 as compared to the $1,433. That's a 42% increase over your Canada Pension Plan at age 65. So if you can defer your money, in most cases it makes sense mathematically to defer your pension until age 70. So that's the fast recap on Canada Pension Plan. So two ways I want to share with you taking CPP early. I know it says age 62, it should be 60 here, but I want to show you a visual representation of just how big the differences are. If you take CPP at age 60 or 65, you can see that trend line, the yellow and the blue line, they're pretty close together. I mean, there's not a massive difference between going from age 60 to 65, but there is an enormous difference about taking it at age 70, that red line. So yes, you are not getting I don't know if that's great English, but the point here is you're not getting any income from your Canada Pension Plan from age 60 through to age 69. You have to wait till age 70. That's many of you are worried about, taking it too late. You're worried about your mortality, but you can see if you are in any position be living into your late 80s, it makes sense to defer your CPP. So that's a visual representation on this one. I'm going to show you another way to look at it. Here's the math. So remember, I may have said this in other videos, and I certainly say it to you when we're doing your plan. I'm going to do two things. I'm going to show you the math, and then we're going to talk about the gut feeling, the emotional impact of your own family's mortality and when you might want to begin CPP. But here's the math. If you were to take CPP at age 60 versus 65 and 70, so let's look at these. Let's draw some circles around this. This is age 60, taking CPP. A couple, forget about how much money they're making and everything else and how long they contributed. Just take the couple. This is a good example. At age 60, they would have received just over $1.5 million worth of benefits from their age until age 90. If they take CPP at age 65, and then if they take CPP at age 70, you can see here that the difference between the 1.5 and the 1.8 is striking. At the bottom of the page, you can see the difference between the Canada Pension Plan death benefit is $7.3 million versus $7.3 million whether you take it at 60 or 65. But the big thing that's staring you in the face right now is the $250,000 difference in your Canada pension plan versus age 60 to 70. That's money that you're never going to receive if you take CPP early at age 60. You're effectively giving up on spending $250,000 that you could have received. So that is not a small amount of money. That's a significant amount of money that's going to be able to help you through retirement. Now, you may not need the help, but if you've got enough money, $250,000 is still a lot to lose out on. So another way to look at it is a side-by-side comparison. On your left is age 60 and on your right is age 70. But before I go into the comparison, I want to just draw your attention to the center of those columns there in yellow, and you can see that's the expenses that this couple are going to spend in their lifetime. The basic expense, that total base of the column, is in two parts, right? On the left side of that column is the total base, and then the total additional is on the right hand. So think of the total base as your needs, and the total additional is your wants. So your needs are safety and security, where you live, paying property tax, paying for the utilities, your clothes, groceries, date night, all these things, gas in the car, everything that you need in order to live your life in your home. The total additional is what you plan to spend in addition to your normal lifestyle expenses like travel, giving money to the kids, maybe purchasing a car, like that kind of thing. It's not a need, it's more of a want. And so we separate them so you can understand, does your plan support being able to maintain your lifestyle? And then on top of that, can we layer in all these wants? That's how we look at that. You can see whether you take CPP at age 60 or take CPP at 70, those expenses don't change. That's what they intend to spend. So this is what I wanted to draw your attention to. So let's look at this. On the left is taking CPP at age 60. Their combined government benefits is $20,000 at age 60. And if you look at age 70, the combined benefit is $92,000. Watch, this is really important. What is the point of your Canada pension plan? It's to help you in retirement to pay for your lifestyle expenses. Now, when you get down to your middle of your retirement years, you're 75 years of age, the CPP in this case is $57,000. So when you took it at 60, it grows each year. You've got inflation adjusted in 2025 is 2.6%. Was the adjustment for CPP. But you can see now that combined CPP and old age security is now $57,000, and you have about $141,000 of expenses here. So that represents about 40%, if I check my notes, about 40% of their expenses, which, I mean, that's great. It's covering almost half, but 40% of their expenses. Look what it is when you defer to age 70. They have $113,000 combined benefit, but they're only spending $140,000. So that's 80% of their expenses. You can see how important that Canada Pension Plan is playing for this couple. When they defer their CPP, it's almost covering off all of their lifestyle expenses. So they don't need to tap into their own personal retirement assets, because they have most of their lifestyle expenses being paid for by Canada Pension Plan. If you have the opportunity of fully funding your Canada Pension Plan, that means you don't require as much money in retirement unless you plan to burn through a lot of your money. But if you have a modest lifestyle, you don't need a whole lot of money. This idea that you need $1.7 million is just, I think, industry driven to get you to save more and so on. But you can see that when you start thinking very carefully about how you integrate your Canada Pension Plan into your retirement plan, it makes sense for you to mathematically defer your Canada Pension Plan to age 70. So there's some really good visual representations of how important Canada Pension Plan is for your retirement. Of course, the whole thing that's hinging on this is mortality, is this idea of how old will you live? What's the probability that you'll make it to age 90? So let's look at the stats in Canada. If you're 65 years of age today, a male will live a 27% chance of living to age 90. A female will live to age 90, 41% chance of living to age 90. and both reaching age 90, 11% chance. And then, of course, there's a 90% chance that one of you will live to age 90. And so this, or 57% chance one of you will live to age 90. So you can see here that the likelihood here is very strong that female are going to be 41%. That's a pretty good number to factor into the idea of how do you factor in CPP in your retirement plan. Men, on the other hand, it's only 27%, but there is a 50% chance, 57% chance that one of you will go to age 90, which is a significant amount of money that you could be giving up if you take CPP early at age 60. Knowing this in advance, that you have a almost like a coin toss in terms of do you make it to age 90. It's something that you need to really think carefully about, because it could be a whole lot of money that you'd be giving up. Okay, so I'm happy that you stayed in this video today right to the end. I have a question for you, and I'm always asking you at the very end, these questions, because your comments, everybody reads the comments, and people want to know what are other people doing, because it helps them to sort of figure out what are other people doing, how does it relate to me. That's a great idea. So when people are reading comments, they get a lot more feedback that way, and you guys also can talk to each other in the comment section. But what are your age that you're thinking to take CPP, and why? This is really most important. Why are you thinking to take CPP at that age? What is driving that number for you? Again, thanks so much for tuning in to today's video. It was great to see you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks, and be well.